Hey, Bulls and Bears, what is happening? My name is JJ. You're watching Bull, Boom, Bear, Bust, back with another dose of economic reality. And we've got some very, very important updates to get into today. We know that this economy has been based on an illusion of lending money, people spending, and then pretending that the economy is great. Uh, Basically, it's a debt binge. And ever since 2008, we've had ultra low interest rates. It's only recently in the past year or so we've had higher interest rates, and now we're seeing all the repercussions of the higher interest rates, right? So this is all based on borrowing money and people spending, which actually makes it look like an economic boom. But underneath, we know that there's real problems that are happening. And ever since 2020, we were fed this line that there's an economic recovery, but yet we see people getting deeper in debt, record amounts of debt for consumers. And we're talking $1 trillion+ credit card debt, which can never be paid off. It's impossible. Um, it just can't happen. It's unsustainable debt. The national debt's unsustainable. The global debt's unsustainable. And this is all based on our system of money, which is currency that can be created out of thin air. It's not backed by anything, meaning it's fiat. Ever since 1971, it hasn't been backed by gold. And that's why we look at the BRICS nations and we're trying to see if these nations are going to actually bring back gold, or what's called a gold standard, and implement that into the currency. Well, so far, we haven't seen that happen. We've seen some gold integrated in trading between some of these countries, some of these BRICS countries, which, by the way, there's 40 more countries applying to be part of the BRICS countries, right? So it's no longer going to be BRICS, because BRICS is just Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. Well, it's going to be a lot more. They're going to have to add on a bunch of letters. They'll probably just continue to call it BRICS because those were the original nations. But the point is, this has been a fake fiat money system that's created an economic boom. But now things are changing because consumers are getting maxed out. They can't stand higher interest rates, higher mortgage rates, causing home sales to plummet. We haven't seen prices plummet yet. That could be in the cards unless unless they find a reason to bring back the foreclosure moratoriums. People don't have to make their payments. They're going to stop paying late fees. All these things they did to keep the economy from imploding in 2020. Could they be coming back? Well, let's take a look at a couple articles. Articles here: CBS, is it coming back? Mask mandates return. Cases are on the rise. You're required to wear masks again in hospitals, and Lionsgate movie studios, mask mandates, right? And we predicted all this right here on this channel, but they're going to find a reason or an excuse why they have to throw out a bunch of life support, uh, life rafts to people, essentially, financial life rafts to people to keep the personal finances of the everyday consumer in the United States, to keep them from imploding. So I think we're going to see new rescue programs. I think we're going to see more stimulus checks, more UBI type of programs, which actually have been implemented here and there in a few cities, kind of test areas, so to speak. But a lot of these things that are rolled out locally are meant to be nationally at some point. So I think we're going to see some sort of massive rescue program once it really starts accelerating where people can't keep up with their debt, which is actually happening now. But once it gets to a point where it affects a lot of people that it can't be denied anymore, I think they're going to bring out some of these rescue programs again. And I think it's going to be because of the health crisis. And then they can say there's nothing wrong with our system of money. It's just that this event threw people into out of work. It caused unemployment because they had to do the shutdown of the economy, right? But we knew this was going to happen. We knew the economy was going to get to a point where it could not be sustained. So that's why we have to have sound money. So let's hear a quick word from our sponsors. About 1 minute. We'll see you on the other side. Please think about investing in sound money, your portfolio. Take a listen. We'll see you on the other side.
Let's talk about protecting your wealth. The US dollar has lost 85% of its purchasing power since the 1970s, when the dollar was decoupled from gold, and the government seems bent on continuing the tradition. From now until the next elections, the government can print as much money as they want. The last time they did that, inflation went up 9%. This means one thing: the security of your future and your family's future is all in your hands. Make sure you freeze the value of the wealth that you're holding. Invest in gold with Noble Gold Investments. Gold is the one asset that has proven to withstand recession, inflation, and just about all economic threats. Noble Gold Investments is here to help you if you want to invest in gold. You will also get a 24 karat 1/4 ounce gold standard coin for free. Go to bullboomgold.com now. That's bullboomgold.com, or simply call 877-646-5347. Noble Gold is the only gold company I trust. Link down in the description of this video.
Now, one of the things that we see in all countries that have had economic collapse is rising theft and crime and stealing. And here's another story just recently here out of a Daily Mail. Nordstrom Rack and Macy's stores are ransacked by a group of thieves who made off with thousands of dollars worth of designer purses here in Riverside, California, right north of me. I have relatives in Riverside. Nordstrom Rack became another victim to the battle with flash robberies, right? So all these things, type of things, increase when we see economic collapse. But there are people out there that think this is just a coincidence, that something else is causing it, that there's nothing wrong with the economy. They'll always try to rationalize because the news, the business news, they tell them to just look at stocks. The stock market's still elevated. It's still near all-time highs. So people will look at that as the gauge of the economy, right? The news should be talking about this type of thing and how things are really actually imploding. And it gets worse. Take a look at this. Dollar Tree said that theft is such a problem, it will start locking up items or stop selling them altogether. And here's an article that really paints the picture on what's going on here. Axios: theft and credit card delinquencies are hurting big retail stores' revenue. So people aren't paying their store card, right? So things are moving along just like we expected. We always said the second half of 2023 is going to be massive. It's going to see big upticks in these things, delinquencies, more rise in theft, homelessness, you name it. It doesn't take a business degree to figure this stuff out. And actually, I have a bachelor's degree in business management, which I really didn't learn a lot about how the economy works with that particular degree. It's nice to have a degree, but it really doesn't do me much good as far as researching, the deep information that we present here on this channel. And actually, now that I think about it, I didn't learn anything about our system of money. Um, in college. I actually learned that way before college. I learned even before I was 10 years old. And my dad knew this guy that hung around a lot, one of his buddies, coworker, I guess. I can't remember exactly, but he would ask me questions and try to, figure out if I was smart or not, or teach me things, which was nice. Pulled out a bill. I think it was a $20 bill. He said, "Who do you think?" Well, first he asked me, "Who do you think are the richest people in the world?" I think I said an athlete, maybe. I don't know if I said a quarterback for the Cowboys or something like that. I think I might have said Troy Aikman. I can't remember. But he said, no, the people that print this paper, and he pulled out a $20 bill, I believe. And it always stuck with me that, wow, those are the richest people in the world that can just print this. So that's where we're at, right? Whoever's closest to the money printer, those are the people that make the most money. So that's why we advocate here for real sound money, which is fair money. That means it can't be printed and just given out here and there to whoever bows down to the money printers, so to speak, right? So we've got to go back to the source of the issue here with the economy. But as the debt binge slows down because people are getting under so much debt, look at this, another layoff. T-Mobile to lay off 5,000 employees. That's 7% of their workforce. T-Mobile, 7% of their workforce. But see, that's actually going to make the jobs numbers look better because the people that have lost their job, they're probably going to go out and get another job and maybe two jobs because a full-time job may not be available. Or even if they have a full-time job, things are so expensive, maybe they'll have to find another side hustle or part-time job in addition to that. So that'll get added to the jobs added number next month. And they'll say, look at all this job growth. In the meantime, debt for people keeps climbing and climbing and climbing. And it's interesting, we're finally starting to see the stock market price in some economic reality. For a long time, the stock market kept shrugging off all the bad news, all the layoffs, all the enormous amounts of debt that people can never pay off. The stock market almost acted like it was separate from the real economy, which it actually is when you look at the ownership and how many what percentage of stocks altogether are owned by the mega rich. We're talking about the top 10%. And the real estate slowdown continues, guaranteed guaranteed rate, conducted 2 rounds of layoffs this month. More job cuts in the mortgage industry, folks. We told you this was going to happen. Where are these people going to work at, right? Good paying jobs in tech and in the mortgage industry are likely not going to be replaced with jobs that pay as much. The guaranteed rate was the nation's seventh largest lender. Wow, the seventh largest lender with 2 rounds of layoffs just this month. Recent article here out of CNET. When student loan pause ends, almost half of the borrowers expect to miss payments. This goes right along with the other reports that we saw, where it was like 56% of students said they'll have to choose between paying their loan payment or buying food or paying their electricity bill, right? So things are about ready to look real bad, and they're not going to be able to cover this up much longer unless a crisis comes out right at the right time to where they can shut everything down again, and then that will be the blame for the economic downturn. In fact, we're already seeing more rescue programs pop up here. Moratorium on mobile home park rent increases in Sonoma County. So they're preventing the mobile home parks from raising the lot rent on people. People just can't handle it, right? So, folks, we know what's going on with the economy. We know that something big is right around the corner. It's getting closer. Will they pull a plug on the entire system and everything goes dark? And that way they can say that was the reason for the collapse. They don't want to blame the system of money. That's the bottom line. So they're going to find something else to blame, right? So we got to be ready for it. Something big could be right around the corner. I've got a feeling. And with the instability right now in society, politically, we've got political parties literally going after each other. I think a lot of that's a big show to distract people from the economic collapse, right? If you know what I'm talking about. So I think you know what's going on, folks. Let me know what you think down in comments. Please at least have 30 days, if you can, 30 days of food, water, cash out of the system. Be prepared, folks. Keep stacking, everybody. Bye for now. Peace.